So, Arif, tell me a little bit about Limitless. I'm so excited to see the premiere episode and the whole series, as a matter of fact. So, tell me a little bit about how it got started, how you're involved. I want to hear all about it.
Sure. Adriana, can I just check? Have you seen anything? Because it'll just be helpful if
Yes.
I know. Okay, fine. Okay. So yeah, so Limitless, the tagline's very simple, live longer, better. It's really about, or better longer, however, whichever combination of words you want, the heart of the series remains the same, which is that, we are looking at ways in which we can all live healthier lives for longer. So it's not about sort of sci-fi solutions to longevity, like, I don't know, cryogenics or something like that. It's very much about what are the changes we can make in our own lives, the behavioral changes that we want to make that will make a difference in terms of our long-term health. So that's the sort of serious intent of the show. The reality is that we have Thor, we have one of the world's biggest movie stars. He's an extraordinary human being, extraordinary physical specimen. And we find ways of pushing him beyond his limits in order to explore the most extreme versions of these interventions and things that we can all do in our lives and the behavioral changes that we're looking for. So it's an entertaining, journey for Chris, immersive journey for Chris into some of the more kind of extreme things that he can do to point towards life enhancing activities.
And how did you get Chris involved? I mean, I'm a huge fan, so I was like super, super pumped when I found out he was going to be on the show. But how did that all come about?
Well, it was we developed the idea of Limitless, exploring longevity essentially with Darren Aronofsky and Ari Handel at Protozoa, who are production partners in this. And that I had worked with Darren on One Strange Rock, which was a series that Nat Geo and then Disney also picked up, which featured Will Smith actually. And we were sort of, that had been really a series, as you can probably tell, about the planet, and it's about the world out there, and we were very keen to explore the world inside, the human body, health and wellness. And so we started kicking around, let's do something on longevity. Darren very much driving that, and we thought, who would be the sort of perfect host in a kind of slightly counterintuitive way for this series? Who's somebody that actually you think has got no problems at all in a way, or no challenges, if you like, in terms of his body, but he's human like the rest of us, and he's aging like the rest of us. And actually, it turns out there are a lot of things that that Chris suffers from, if you like, or is challenged by, tackles that we all do. Be it stress in our lives, a lack of sleep, managing our nutrition, making sure that our bodies are built for the long term rather than just for the surface. All of these things are things that Chris grapples with. And so we thought there was something really interesting about taking somebody like Chris, taking somebody who seems so perfect, and then finding ways in which they can improve their lives and their health in a way that is relatable to everyone else.
And what
I'd
was
also
your
say, by the way, that, thinking about the kind of things that we put Chris through, there are very few people. There's hardly anyone that I can think of who have the physical and mental fortitude to do the things that we ask him to do. So, that was a huge part of it. Chris is game for some extraordinary things. He's up for doing some extraordinary things in this show. And that's hugely important if you're going to make a show that's going to captivate and excite and entertain.
Absolutely. And what would you say was the biggest challenge about making Limitless?
Um, I'm afraid it's a slightly familiar story for people in delivering content over the last 2 or 3 years, but working around COVID was a big challenge for us insofar as, the original intention of the series was that we would shoot over a shorter time frame in a window that Chris had available between his big blockbuster movies. And we shot 2 episodes prior to lockdown in kind of, prior to March, April, when the world changed. And then working, you know, with Chris's desire to complete the series and to make the series as well as good as it could be, working around COVID and then working around his movie schedule, because in the time that we filmed with him over the course of Limitless. He shot Thor, he shot Extraction 2. He was making huge blockbuster movies. So working around COVID, working around his schedule, and making sure that we kept him focused and committed to the project, is always going to be a huge challenge. I mean, fortunately, he gave 110%. His commitment was unflagging to the point where, I think we probably had a level of focus from him and commitment that he's given few projects in the past. And he felt it mattered. These are things, he's obviously got the center app. He's somebody who's a great proponent of good living, healthy living, and he genuinely felt that this was something that he wanted to put his shoulder right behind and give everything he could.
That's incredible. And he's such an incredible man. Watching him do some of those things, I have no words. Like I would never be able to do that. Even watching it, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. But it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I've got to say, we were all going into those final challenges that Chris did, or some of the bits in between, to be honest, that were with no guarantee that he was going to be able to. That we'd set the bar incredibly high, and insofar as Ross Edgley in the strength episode set him the challenge of 100 foot of rope, which for a guy of his physique is near impossible. Similarly with Ross setting him the swim in the Arctic fjord. These were beyond the realms of what mere mortals can achieve, and it helps that he's a god in both sort of on screen and in reality in terms of his drive and his desire to, once he's set himself a goal, to actually deliver on that. So we didn't know that any of that stuff was necessarily going to play out the way it did, and you can see it in the shows. I think, I don't know how you're going to frame this. I mean, I don't want to give away spoilers, but during the Arctic swim, he stops halfway, and that's a genuine moment where I thought, okay, that's it, he's done. So how you respond to adversity is quite an extraordinary quality that he has.
yeah, I am so excited to see everybody watch that moment, watch the whole series even because it's just so incredible. And I feel like people can learn from it in a sense is just see you don't know where your strength comes from because he's just
Yeah,
proving how strong he is, how amazing he is, and I can't
and
wait to see the reaction.
I think the other thing that it's definitely worth mentioning is the final episode, Acceptance, which is a very emotional and quite profound film. We feel where he examines his own feelings and our feelings about aging and mortality. That was an extraordinary life changing experience, I think, for him in a way that um, not many superstars are going to be so open and so vulnerable to their feelings and their emotions, and so open to the experience, the unplanned, the unexpected experience that he undergoes during that episode. And I know that was beyond a television experience for him. That was an experience in his life that he's going to hold on to, and that has changed him in a way that I think ultimately is a reflection of the fact that he's always open to new experiences and new learnings. And that's what makes him, I think, what's made him such a successful actor as well.
Absolutely. And what's next for you, or is the show pretty much your baby right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're focused on doing this kind of thing. So, it airs November 16th. There's a premiere in New York, an event that we're working up towards, which is very exciting next week. And yeah, there are a few projects I can't really go into, but the production company Utopia, that I'm an EP at. I previously did The World According to Jeff Goldblum, One Strange Rock. We did Welcome to Earth with Will Smith. So we specialize, if you like, in huge kind of big budget or big scale adventures and experiences and explorations with superstars. And people love it. So we will continue making these kind of shows, hopefully in the future. And I may talk to you about another superstar at some point down the line.
I cannot wait. And since we are almost out of time, I just want you to describe Limitless in 3 words.
live longer, better. I mean that's that's our mission statement. So that's what the series is, and you'll find it on the posters. So hopefully that's
I love
reflected.
that. I love it. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you and good luck with everything. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Of course, you're always welcome back too.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Adriana. Bye bye. Alex, you want to